We're Jewish. Ask us anything.
I'm here with my very funny friend, Zach Adler, comic, podcaster. We are here to give an opportunity for people to ask a Jew anything.
We live in a day and age where people like to yell at each other from the comfort of their phones or computers, where we're not taking the time to get to know each other. We're just have our preconceived notions and we get angry about them.
Instead, we are here today on the street, giving a chance for real humans to encounter another real human.
We are real. Me and Zevi are real.
Ask anything, any question they have for a Jew. The insanity that ensues is well worth sticking around for. We hope you enjoy.
Like offensive question? I don't know. Like,
what exactly does it mean to be Jewish?
What are the curls?
Why do I feel like a lot of America hates you guys?
What do you guys think of like the Israel-Palestine conflict?
what's your favorite part about your
I remember seeing on the news like a Neo-Nazi protest. But what do you guys think about that?
Why are you guys doing this?
What is your view on what Zionism is?
How do you feel about Jewish women?
How do you guys feel about what Christianity is?
My question was, how was your guys' day?
Oh, wow. All right. I woke up like an hour ago.
Oh,
Let's do Judaism, baby.
How you doing, Leo?
Good, good. Enjoying the weather today.
Yeah, gorgeous day.
Taking the dog out for a walk. Can't complain.
That's good.
So just go ahead and...
Yeah. Any questions?
All right. First one, I guess. What are the curls? What do they mean?
I'm going to let Zevi answer this one because I grew up in a sect of Judaism that didn't grow the curls.
Okay.
He did.
Okay, go ahead.
The curls are actually an interesting thing. It's a great question. In the Bible, there's different agricultural laws, and many of them are about giving food to the needy. And one of them is that when you cut a field, you're not allowed to cut the edges of the field. The corners stay for the poor to come and collect the grain.
Okay.
So the head is like a representative of the field. It's where our wheat grows. And we don't cut the corners symbolically to remind us that in our agricultural life, we shouldn't cut the corners either, to leave it for the poor. It's like an abstract symbolism that when we do our business life and our economic life, we're not there to maximize profits, but we're there to be good citizens and help people in the world. So it's a bit of an abstract symbolism, but that's what they're about.
Wait, that's where Pace is from?
Is that no?
I just learned something. I did not know that.
That makes a lot of sense because it is how you guys do your culture. Like you guys help each other out because you're very united. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Nice.
You know, A$AP Rocky had him at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grew him out. Cultural appropriation, but we allowed it.
Okay, I was gonna say, was that offensive?
No, not at all. We don't care. We don't care.
What are I guess like the differences between the Jews that wear like the whole outfit and you guys look casual? Like what are your...
Sure. I'll begin to feel this one, and then you'll come in with fancier words. So, like in any religion, there's different sects within the religion. There's also different levels of religious observance, right? So, like in Christianity, I can't talk too eloquently on Christianity, but obviously different Christians dress differently, behave differently.
Okay.
All the way to Catholics that wear like a certain, whole outfit. So with Jews, there's Jews who like keep all of the laws. They observe all of the laws of the Torah, all Jewish laws. They're called Orthodox. And then there's even ultra-Orthodox. And so I think what you're talking about, especially if you're in New York and you're talking about the Jews that you see wearing like black and white and maybe the long coats and the hats, they're like ultra-Orthodox. They're kind of like the most the most religious of Jews. And they're going to be keeping every biblical law and they're really keeping all of Judaism in a very Orthodox way. And then there's just a million gradations between them and someone completely secular. So...
Okay.
My friend Zevi here, he is an Orthodox Jew. You can tell because he's wearing these are called tzitzit, right? So if someone's wearing this, they're usually going to be pretty religious because that's he's wearing a yarmulke, but he's also wearing Zara jeans. So like you can and I'm not wearing that tzitzit. So there's just gradations, but yeah, if you see someone wearing everything, that's like they're about as religious as you can get.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense. All right.
How did you grow up? Where did you grow up in a religious?
So I am considered Catholic Christian, I guess.
Considered by who? Yourself or other people?
I guess by my family. So I have the whole first communion, confirmation, all of that deal. Cool. So now I have a question for you. So are you allowed to marry or date out of the religion?
Well, that depends on which Jew you're asking and what their level of observance is. But yes, according to Jewish law, according to biblical Jewish law and rabbinic Jewish law, a a child born from a Jewish man and a non-Jewish woman is not a Jew. Judaism is a matrilineal, I believe is the word. So it comes from, you need to have a Jewish mother to be a halachic, which means Jewish law. Halachically speaking, Jewish law, for Jewish law to consider you a Jew, according to the Orthodox way of viewing Jewish law.
Okay.
So therefore we don't really date unless you're like prepared to have potentially one day have kids with a person and they're not Jewish. But because most people want their kids to be Jewish if they're Jewish, we tend to date our own.
Makes sense.
But that is an Orthodox answer. There's other ways of viewing it, and there are plenty of interfaith Jewish and Christian relationships and marriages and all sorts of different relationships. But yes, if you were according to Jewish law, according to at least an Orthodox view of Jewish law, that probably would be a no-go. Probably very
Makes sense. Okay.
And feel free to, especially when I'm saying something just dead wrong. He knows more Jewish law than I do.
Okay.
I would like to point that out on him.
So what makes you different to him in the sense, like when you were brought up, like
we grew up very similarly, although we grew up at a similar religious level, but he grew up in a different sect. He's Hasidic.
Okay.
I know he does not look like your average. It's more of a hipster variety of Hasidic, but he is Hasidic, and I did not grow up Hasidic. So we had very different philosophies about how to go about Orthodox Judaism, but we both grew up Orthodox. We both grew up keeping all of the Jewish laws.
Okay. So do your parents dictate how, I don't want to say how you turned out and how he turned out, but like who determines that?
Who determines what sect of Judaism you practice?
I guess.
Well, I think that's like in any sort of religion, or honestly, even almost any sort of political affiliation. If you grew up with heavily Republican parents, you'll probably grow up a Republican. And then one day you grow a brain and you become an adult and you decide to think for yourself. And either you continue to be a Republican or you go, actually, I'm going to, vote for Biden or Bernie, right? Like people end up becoming adults and thinking and changing. So too with Jewish religion.
Okay.
I grew up not Hasidic. Maybe if I had fallen in love with Hasidism, with the teachings of that sect of Judaism, I could have become Hasidic. There's no barring of entry. You're allowed to become that sect of Judaism, and he also could leave that sect of Judaism.
Okay.
But yes, obviously the way you are raised is going to flavor your Judaism and what it means to you and how you relate to it, because that's what you're being taught. He went to different types of schools that taught a different philosophy of Judaism than my schools.
Got it.
It flavors everything.
Okay. I guess from the outside perspective, it looks like because you can't identify who's who and what's what, to you, it's like all the same on the outside. So it's like, are there rules there? Are there laws there that you got to follow?
So you're saying, are there different laws that different?
No, I mean, you answered it, but like, I guess I'm saying, the way I ask you this is because it's viewed like that from the outside. Like you don't know who's who, and
yeah, it's hard to know when you're not within a religion. It's hard to know like all the different types. They all just seem like one thing.
Yeah,
it seems like a monolith, but we're not. To be fair, I look at Christians and I see so many different types of churches, and there's different types of Christians, Episcopalian, and I'm like, what's the?
Yeah,
it seems like all the same thing to me, but that's just because I don't have knowledge about it. I'm a bit ignorant of it.
I probably have the same questions when it comes to Christianity as you do, because it's just like it's just a lot of flavors here.
Fun fact: he knows probably more about Christianity than I would say 95% of Christians.
Of Christians, I bet.
He studies Christianity.
I bet. How do you guys feel about what Christianity is?
Huge question. I'll let you start. It's a very big question.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more? Like, is there something more specific in the question? Or
Okay, so I guess I know Jesus was Jewish,
right?
So what makes him like? Why was he an outcast to you guys? Like, what? I never understood that. And
Snappy for that question. That's a cool question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's kind of two important like answers to that question. One is, why was Jesus an outcast in his own day, right? Because the Jews rejected him in his day. And then why later in history did Jews continue to reject him and not accept him, right? And the reason why Jesus was an outcast in his own day, as far as I can tell, reading the Gospels, is that Jesus was challenging the status quo, right? He did not like the way that religion and society were being conducted. He felt that things were too by the law, and he felt that there wasn't enough, of the spirit of the law being practiced. He felt that people were being blinded by the legalism and ritualism of the day, which is the same message that all the prophets of Israel came to tell the Jewish people, right?
Okay.
That you guys are getting sort of caught up in the legal structure, forgetting the heart of religion, which is really to love one another and to love God. So that's why Jesus, in some ways, let's say, rubbed some shoulders the wrong way during his own day. Going forward, what happened with the early Jesus movement before it was Christianity is that they slowly began to break away from Judaism. And particularly under the leadership of Paul, they very much shifted away from what Judaism looked like at the time and turned into a new religion, essentially Christianity, which was which comes about later after the passing of Jesus. And once Christianity becomes its own religion, its tenets, its ideals, its aspirations become very different than Judaism. And therefore Jews continue to reject Christianity for different reasons that Jesus was rejected. Because Jesus, as you're saying, was rejected as a Jew. But later, Christianity as a whole was
Sometimes
rejected.
I forget that Christianity started as a Jewish sect.
Yes. It was a messianic sect of Judaism.
Yeah. What do you guys feel that is different between the two religions and the same?
Well, so I'm going to talk less intelligently. He can probably list all the ways, but I think it's also important just to, like, a non-academic, like what is just my like naive opinion of why they're different. They're different, I would say, to me, like, besides the strict monotheism versus Christianity very famously has the Holy Spirit and the Father and the Son, and it's like a triumvirate God. So that, that's like a more just technical, like, that's not gonna mix well, strict monotheism and this idea of the Trinity. But also I think that philosophically, some big differences is there's a lot more laws in Judaism. There's a lot more adherence to like very specific ritualistic things.
Okay.
There's just like almost every aspect of a Jew's day, if he's living like according to like full Jewish law, has laws around it. Is being sort of dictated. And with Christianity, I think it seems to me to be a little bit more loose and a little bit more about feeling and belief. And I would say that's one of the major differences. And then a third major difference is that Christianity proselytizes. Christianity wants everyone to be Christian, and Judaism does not want everyone to be Jewish. We do not proselytize. We do not try to make, that is not what is going on here. Like, we do not care to make non-Jewish people be Jews. We want to spread God, but we don't want them to be Jews. So that is another major difference, I would say, between the religions.
Okay.
You're asking really good questions, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next one is controversial. I don't know if you want him.
Please don't shy away from the most controversial. We don't easily get offended, me and him. So
okay. How do Jews feel about the theory of the Virgin Mary? What do you guys feel about that?
He's going to take this.
Yeah, so there's no official theological position on the question of the virginhood of Mary or on really other doctrines of other religious faiths. It's not our place to be adjudicating other people's theologies. In Judaism, we don't accept the miracle of the virgin birth. There are other faiths that may take that and that's sacred to them, and we respect that. But it's not seen as a miracle in sort of the way that Jews understand Jewish history. But we're not here to tell anyone else what they should or shouldn't believe about their sacred characters. And after all, Mary was a Jewish woman and a Jewish mother, and in that way we can respect her and respect what she brought into the world, without having to pass judgment on any aspect of it.
Okay. That's fair. All right. I think
to say you just to be clear, you are talking to two very like open-minded, like tolerant Jews. If you ask just like in every religion, if you ask like something incredibly like, there are closed-minded Jews who like have like a very, I grew up with like, there was a real fear of Christianity, a real like distaste for it. And I think that a lot of that, and I think it's important to bring this up. I think that like you have a long history with Christians, and it was not always a very nice one. The empires that were like very Christian in nature, like hunted us, killed us, and And then there was also just the fact that we feel like, you know, a lot of them try to proselytize Jews. They try to like go specifically after Jews and like get Jews to become Christian. So I grew with a lot of like, we didn't like, nothing positive really said about Christianity at all. Like very negative. And then, you know, you get older and you think about it and you realize like everyone's just trying to, most normal people, we're just seeking God. We're seeking connection in our own ways. And there's really beautiful interfaith dialogue to be had. But yeah, like you ask 10 Jews what they think about Christianity, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Yeah.
And you're getting a very respectful, I would say, not just respect, I would say like I feel we both like Christianity, like me and Zevi, we appreciate it. And we appreciate a lot of its thought. And that won't be the case with every Jew you ask. And I'm sure there are Christians who really, I've met Christians who really appreciate not just Jews, but Judaism, some of our wisdom. And I've met taught Christians who just view us as something to be conquered, to be made into a Christian, and they kind of despise. So
Yeah.
you get the gamut of humans.
Yeah. Well, I guess to conclude here, if Christianity, well, it does come from Judaism, the foundation of Christianity. I feel you guys have a better blueprint, no judgment towards Christianity or Catholics, but it seems that because Judaism has survived all of this and you guys are still so united, it's like, it's the real deal religion.
That is a talking point that a lot of Jews use. A
Yeah,
lot of rabbis use that talking point.
It's true. Like if you walk up and down on Eastern Parkway alone, you'll see how the neighborhood changes.
Yeah.
And you see the different, let's just say, religions. And you can tell that there's a difference, that there's chaos on that side. And there's just like peaceful, just, I don't want to say bliss, but just there's more tranquility, which ultimately on this side, which ultimately is, you know, the sign that there's like some kind of organization, you know, and it comes from the Judaism. That's how I see it.
I don't even know if I have a comment to that. It's nice to be appreciated. I think there's cracks under the surface that you wouldn't be able to see, but you are not wrong. There's a beautiful, beautiful amount of cohesion and community. And it's not just because Jews live next to each other. It is the religion. It is the Torah. It is, you know, this way of life and this way of thinking about the world that really, it binds people together. And there's also not that many of us. So, you know, you stick around, you got to stick together when there aren't that many of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
say that?
No, that was beautiful. It's really nice to have that reflection from the outside. It's hard to see sometimes from the inside.
Yeah.
What's going on.
Absolutely. I see it at least.
I think you seeing it helps me see it more.
Yeah.
I take it for granted.
I guess the reason I see what you guys do is because I see how dark it can be on the other side. And you see someone else and you're like, how are they able to keep their families together? There's no divorce there.
No divorce. There's less.
Okay.
A lot less, but there is divorce.
I haven't seen, but I'm not even involved in the Jewish community, but I haven't seen like a single mother ever. I know there might be, but
I have, but I've seen them as in I've dated.
Okay.
No, but yeah, Judaism is, I can't think of a system of thinking that puts more, is it privacy or primacy?
Primacy.
There's more primacy. more primacy on the family unit. I mean, we are obsessed with the family unit. Obsessed with family life. And it shows.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess it is nice to be appreciated for that. And we're very lucky, but also the Jews living in America are westernized as well. And we deal with a lot of the same issues that people in the Western world deal with. You know, there's a wider culture here, and that culture has insane divorce rates and relationships go awry left and right. And people don't seem to fight for things in relationships in our culture sometimes. And you know, that enters Judaism. But
Like, what the? What?
we have thousands of years of just focusing on family
Yeah.
built in.
All right.
I think there's something very beautiful in your community, wherever you were raised, that you're able to come over and make time with a lot of like grace and respect and dignity and ask questions and share. So whoever raised you did a good job too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Facts.
Thanks for coming over.
What was
Sure.
your name again?
Leo.
Leo.
Debbie.
Leo. This is a pleasure. Change me.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Anytime. Good luck here. I hope
Thank
you
you.
get some good content
Yeah.
here.
My name is Jonathan.
Zevi.
Nice to meet you, Zevi.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Thanks for joining, dude.
No problem, no problem. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm really into psychedelics, mushrooms, LSD, and I wanted to question it's a question about like the Jewish mysticism, something called like Merkaba. And from what I was told, it's like these dudes who, it's not really, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a state of like, there's so much, but it's like the aliens are not real and the aliens are actually fallen angels. And like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the guys look like UFOs when they get into like this, I don't know how to call it. It's like the hot, like it looks like these dots. It's like some kind of crazy mysticism shit. And my friend was telling me about it and I wasn't really paying attention too much, but apparently it's like the highest of like, can you just tell me more about it? Like
I'm not sure I know what you're referring to.
I do.
Send me that. I am not surprised.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna listen with full ears.
Yeah,
now.
please. Yes. Wow. What? I was not the question I was expecting, but that's beautiful. That's great. So there are many forms of mysticism in the traditions around the world.
Yeah.
And in Judaism, there are also a handful of different types of Jewish mysticism that develop over Jewish history. During the Second Temple period, so going back 2,500 years, there was a form of mysticism called, in Hebrew, it's called Merkava, right? Which is often transliterated as Merkaba, or sometimes the spelling changes. But Merkava means chariot, right? And it's a reference to the chariot vision in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, right? Where the prophet Ezekiel, standing on the shore, sees the chariot of God.
insane,
That's right.
yeah.
That insane
the
psychedelic-
wheel with the
wheel
eyes and
with the
yeah.
different
Biblically
yes.
accurate.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
So he sees the faces, and upon the throne he sees the image of God in the shape of man, right? So Jewish mystics, following the prophets, which may have also been mystics during the Second Temple period, would meditate on the verses in that chapter, and they would try to have that same metaphysical, psychedelic, mystical experience.
Okay,
my man knows.
Yeah.
And it's gone through. There's been many different ways that it's been interpreted and understood. It's been sort of this blueprint, this code that people have tapped into to try and tap into that experience, like a canvas of sorts that many people have plugged into that blueprint.
Yeah.
And for some mystics, it was about using letters and permutating language to get to there. For some mystics, it was about engaging with natural plants to get in there. For some people, it was intense meditation and prayer, different forms of getting to there. In my own tradition, in the Hasidic tradition, which is also a contemporary form of Jewish mysticism, which in some ways is a continuation of the Merkava mystics, the way that we interpret that specific episode in Jewish history and that text is that we are all in potential a chariot of God.
Yes.
Right? And what it means to be a chariot of God is that God, in the Jewish and the biblical understanding, is infinitely kind, infinitely merciful, infinitely loving, infinitely forgiving. And if we can embody those to some degree, then we are being a Merkava, we are being a chariots of the divine.
Yes. I was told that Jesus Christ was a messenger trying to spread the consciousness, and that he was like, that Christos is like a consciousness of like Christos, something I'm not too like, I don't want to talk like what I don't know about, but I heard like the Christos is like, it's a state of mind. And my mom's a Christian. and I have a brother named David. So Jonathan and David, but it's like, I don't know how to tell her some things because she won't. I don't know. We just have different. I grew up in church my whole life, and it's like I'm 24 right now. Probably like 4 years ago, I stopped really like just really believing in the church, like, and I'm seeing things for like what they are, and thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, of
My
course.
name is Jonathan. I'm sorry. I have to go right now.
Jonathan,
But
thanks
thank you,
for
Zeddy.
the beautiful question.
Thank you, Zach. Again,
And
I don't want to see your money.
good luck on your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Need it, you know, I'm just like,
We all do.
yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
What are we? Okay, so where's this gonna go? How do I find this after the fact?
Our Instagrams are over there, our channel.
How did I get involved?
Your impulsive nature one, that's what happened.
All right, so what's going on? Why are we here?
What's your name, firstly?
Anastasia.
Anastasia. So we're doing a AMA,
Uh-huh.
and the theme is that we're Jews. So you can ask a Jew a question, and we'll try to answer if we
You've
can.
ever had about Jews.
Yeah.
And
But my best friend's a Jew, so what if I have no questions to ask? Like, my friend was just in Israel cutting hair for, like, people who didn't have homes and stuff, so,
That's
like,
awesome.
Wow.
yeah.
Well, maybe is your friend a religious Jew?
Yeah, he has, like, a kosher sink. That's how you know
Is he as cool as us, though?
I would like to think so. I would like to think so. What kind of questions do you guys get asked?
We've been asked a wild variety of questions today.
Like, offensive questions?
None,
Or, like,
none yet. You can be the first. None yet.
We're not easily offended, but I would like someone to try to offend me today. That'd be fun.
I have an aggressive nature. I don't know. Like, can you guys strive? Like, is that
That's great. That's going into like the
So
the
Jewish
pre-real.
women can't.
I'm out. That's
Let's do the tango. Let's go.
Oh man. How do you feel about Jewish women then?
Big fan, honestly.
Big fan. Me
Yeah.
too. My best friend's Jewish,
Not
and
the Jappy kind.
she's
What that
definitely
is?
not Jappy. Yeah, no, Jewish American princess. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well,
The 333 is an angel number, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm gonna give you the
Apparently,
center
it's
seat
like,
on this one. Yeah, yeah.
what is going on here? How did I get involved in this?
It's a question we ask ourselves every day. How do we get involved in this?
So, how often do you guys do this?
We he's been in content creation for years, and I started about a year ago. And this is our first time doing this type of content, but I like it. This is fun.
All right.
I like this a lot.
Well,
I know you got more questions for Jews.
I don't. No, don't ask
Do you have any
him.
questions about the guys with the funny hats?
No, I live near Lakewood. You know? This is not a good. See, we're not a good fit here. Yeah. So, how do you feel about the Lakewood Jewish culture?
I love this by a non-Jew about Lakewood. That's so fun. I think that like Lakewood just represents a really, really extreme sort of like about as extreme as the type of Judaism I grew up with can go.
Mm-hmm.
Very insular,
Mm-hmm.
but also like a lot of money gets made there now. Like it's like very, I don't know. I'm not a fan of hyper insular neighborhoods, so I don't like it. But I do know this. I'll say something very positive about Lakewood. I believe Lakewood often comes up as the most charitable zip code in America.
Wow.
Many years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, they're giving charity to their own. It's Jews giving charity to Jews, but their people there are so charitable. There's so many. There's a word, gemach,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's Hebrew Yiddish for if someone like just gives away something for free. So like there's a dress gemach. Like if you're don't have a lot of money and I need a dress for a wedding, someone's gonna get you a free dress you can just rent.
Yeah, it is very community based. I feel you there. I feel
Fun
you
fact: Gemach is an acronym for Gemilot Chasadim,
Oh,
acts of kindness.
there. Acts of kindness.
Yeah.
So the thought is there. That's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not just the thought, the action.
No, the
People,
action.
it's happening.
I mean, for me, like I work in the construction, like for my day job, like I work in the construction industry. We build a lot of houses for Jewish people. Like they are good people and like they do have good intent, like regardless of, certain natures that some of them may have, like, disrespect in some aspects without getting disrespectful with you guys. We can all be disrespectful to each other at the end of the day, you know what I mean? But, they do have a lot of care, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of like community based where they like a lot of taking care of each other. So I respect that. I take care of my friends and family and I appreciate people who do the same. So
I think the disrespect that sometimes people feel from like very hyper religious Jews is just like it's usually like New York. So it's like New York energy plus they live in an insular community.
I didn't consider that. All right, so insular community, check. New York City, aggression. So both mixed together can create a negative vibe.
Yeah.
I feel that. All right, I'm with you.
Once you get to know them, they're not going to be
Like that.
It's just that like, the outside world, I gotta go.
I didn't
gotta
consider
hustle.
that. Maybe it's the New York City.
I mean, speaking about aggression, he's wearing a hoodie that says Soho, New York, go yourself. I don't know if that's Soho telling me to yourself or you telling Soho to go yourself. Very
What do you think? It was nice chatting with you guys. I really want. We have time tickets, and I just remembered that.
Go
Awesome.
for it.
I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
My name is Sean. What's up?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you.
Zevi.
Evie. That's a proper name. I like that.
I'm actually about to get after this.
Yeah. What's up, y'all? Nice to meet y'all.
All right. Oh,
What's the topic for
he's
today?
mic'd up?
Yeah.
I'm mic'd up.
The topic
Yeah.
is, we're Jewish. You can ask us anything. Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah. Any question you've ever had for a Jew about Judaism or about anything, honestly.
Y'all were slaves?
What?
Y'all were slaves?
We were slaves.
A
That's
long
right.
time ago,
A long time ago?
Down in Egypt.
Why do I feel like a lot of America hates you guys?
Great question.
Great question, bro. Good question. I will answer, but I don't think a lot. I think
Yeah.
a lot's a relative term. I think most people like everyone. I think most people are good people. Why do some people in America hate us? I'll give my answer and then Zevi will give his.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm looking forward to hearing your answer.
I think a little bit of it is they hate us because they ain't us.
Mm.
Jews do very well.
Y'all do. I give y'all that.
We're
Yeah.
flexing on them a little bit. We're doing well. We a lot of CEOs, a lot of Harvard graduates. So that's gonna breed some hatred. Is there anything other reason? I mean, right now what's going on with Israel-Palestine, people, a lot of Jews have a strong allegiance to Israel. And so this is a very tense time to be someone who has a strong allegiance to the concept of Israel existing.
Right.
So that's some of the hate. And then, I don't know. I don't know if there's other. Yeah, I think those are the two big ones. Yeah. What about that? What about
My feeling is that like hatred really is like unnatural and irrational.
Mhm.
Like as babies, we love one another.
Right.
And we get taught to hate, and it's unrational in some sense. And I think a lot of the hatred is based on ignorance. Like we're afraid of the unknown, and we hate the things that we don't know. And I think that if there was a chance to have like more just chances to get to know each other, sit on the street and ask questions of each other, there'd be less hatred, there'd be less reason, because it is unreasonable, right? There's no good reason to hate a million people. Like
That's true. I got another question for you guys. This was the last one before I go, right?
Well, I got a question for you though.
All right, go ahead. You first.
No.
Me first? All right, fine. Me first. What can you give to other cultures from you guys' cultures that you guys can kind of like tips for the way you guys colonize you guys yourselves to build you guys' own community, and kind of like my saying is like, with you guys, I like Jewish people because I feel like before a Jewish dollar touches another culture's hand, it touches another Jewish person's hand.
Yeah.
So what tip can you give to other cultures to colonize themselves, like kind of like the same way? Because I think that's pretty dope. The way you guys are.
That's a great.
Yeah. Deep.
Yeah. These are damn, dude. I don't know if I have it starts, I think, really on an educational level of just like, you got to get to kids young, instill within them just an immense amount of pride in what they are. Whether you are a Jew, whether you are a Christian, whether you are black, white, Hindu, whatever it is, like it starts education in school and at home. If you make someone incredibly proud and you make sure that they know from a very young age that like, no matter what you do, we got you. Like you're not gonna go hungry, even if I can't feed you to your own kid. Yeah, someone in the community will.
Yeah, that's dope. Like, that's why I like you guys.
So then they want to grow up and get that going. And so they're like, okay, they had me when I was growing up. I got my brothers and sisters when I grew up, when I have money, and like we really got each other. And like Jews help other Jews financially. You were most talking about dollars, or financially. We show up with our money, and I think it just comes from pride. It's like. Yeah, that's my brother.
So more family connection, more of a family connection within other cultures. And
I see this in the black community. I see black-owned business signs on business, and I see a lot of black people showing up and giving their money.
Yes, and I wish we were more together as you guys, or like the Chinese culture. But yeah,
well,
long way to go.
You though. I got a question for
Yeah,
you
what's
because
up?
you asked us, why do you think people hate Jews?
Yeah.
I do want to ask back. Why do you think people hate black people in this country?
Why? I feel like because I feel like the country is racist because as far as like white people go, I don't consider y'all white. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. But as far as like,
wait, I'll be honest with you.
I don't consider Jews white. I mean, when you get back into culture, as far as like Nazis and all that stuff, I just don't consider you guys white. And like anybody, I feel like a lot of cultures have been enslaved.
Yeah.
Just as much as you guys, China, you know, Africa's. I don't think white people have been enslaved. So I don't think that you can put you guys in the same category. And because of that, I feel like people hate black people because we are so free. We don't care. And we basically just do whatever we want to do. And you guys can't, a lot of the world can't do whatever the they want to do. Like we can do whatever the we want to do. You know, I mean, I feel like for our culture, being told that we couldn't do things for so long, I feel like now we just be like, you know what, we don't give a like, we don't care how you feel. We're going to wear what we want to wear. We make a lot of trends too.
Yes.
We're very trendy, and a lot of people like to follow the trendy, our trendy culture. So I think that's why they hate out of us.
Every playing that gets in society started on Black Twitter.
Dances. Nowadays, you find any culture doing the dances that we come up with or we create. Say we over there. Yeah.
You guys were told for so
long you can't do this.
Now you're like, we're gonna do whatever
the we want to do. And now I feel like that's why as well, like, you know, it gets deeper into as far as like jail systems and why they created it the way they created it, because it's like, okay, now you guys are doing too much of what you want to do. You know, so I don't know. It's always a system in somewhere in this, you know. No, I think that's why they hate us.
Yo, brother, I so appreciate the questions. I gotta say, it's high time that the Jews and blacks begin to.
I think we're pretty dope. I think you guys can learn from one another. And like 100%. I said, I love the way you guys rock. I say that all the time. Like I love it.
Likewise.
I love the family vibe. Like all cultures like that. Indian cultures. I just love it. It's always put together. Name? Sean.
I'm just gonna grab that mic.
All right. Yeah.
You have a great day.
You too.
Where can we catch you, Sean? Where
can I hit him with him?
How accurate it is those TV shows? I'm just trying to think what the name of
like
this show was.
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox. Is that like near? Is it like true or is it like not really? It's like a story.
I think that there's a lot of dramatization.
Okay.
For TV. But I think they try to stick to the core of the story. Unfortunately, for many of those stories, because it has to be good for TV, they choose like stories that are not representative of everyday life, but stories that are kind of beyond the norm.
Right, a little extreme.
Yeah. Okay, and in that regard, many people in the Hasidic community felt that they were being misrepresented.
Right.
Because it only presented an extreme element. But those extremes do exist to some extent. So it's accurate in the sense that it does capture some of the story, but not all of the story.
Okay, interesting. All right, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
What's your name?
I'm going to say very cliche. Zevi.
Zevi?
Nice to meet you.
What's your favorite mitzvah?
My favorite mitzvah, and maybe I'm biased because it's like a few hours till Shabbat, but I've got to say Shabbos. It's like, it's literally my mental health and my sanity.
That's a good point.
It also reminds me that I'm not here on this spinning rock in space to be just a productive contributor to capitalism. I'm here to actually be a human, and sometimes it means to stop and appreciate and rest and connect with family and friends. So I really love Shabbos. I think even if I wasn't religious at all, I would still have some form of Shabbos.
Love that.
Yeah.
My actual favorite mitzvah is the one that Viz Hill said is really all of Torah is this. The rest is commentary, and it's I mean, that's kind of my type of Judaism is, do unto others as you'd have done unto yourself. The rest is commentary. But I've always really been a fan of, and now I'm forgetting the name, but visiting the sick. What is the Hebrew name?
Bikur Cholam.
Bikur Cholam, yeah.
It's a good one.
Those are your yeshiva tuition. I'm a really big fan of Bikur Cholam, and I'll tell you why specifically. I'm not, obviously, other cultures have this concept. It's the fact that the Torah, goes into, specific laws about it. They care about it so much that it's not just, go visit the sick. It's here's how you should do it the best possible way. Here's when you should do it. I love that the Torah gets involved in, legislating just because they care that much of doing it in the most ideal way possible. And I think they do the same thing with charity. The Rambam has this whole list of, how to give charity. This charity is a little bit better than this charity. I like that.
And returning lost items.
Oh,
Same idea.
big one. You feel so good, right? You see something in the street, you're like, I'm gonna show us the video that.
That's right. That's right.
Can I ask, what's your favorite mitzvah?
Ooh, that's a good question. I wasn't really prepared to answer. I love celebrating the holidays. All the holidays.
You gotta pick one.
Okay, one holiday. Probably. Okay, so probably maybe I'm I guess it's like the recency bias or the opposite of that. That Purim is upcoming, but Misha Nechnas Adar. That's a good one. That's a happy one. That might be the best one. Yeah, Purim. Happy Purim.
Happy Purim. Happy Purim.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Good job.
So yeah, my question was, what do you think about secular Jews whose dads are Jewish, and I guess their son or daughters consider themselves Jewish?
Oh, interesting. You're going right. So you're saying the mother is not Jewish?
Yeah.
So you're asking me what I think.
Yeah.
So I would say I grew up Orthodox. I grew up like keeping all of Jewish law, and I know that Jewish law would not consider those kids Jews. They have an option to become Jews. They can what's the English for ger? Convert, right? They can convert. So I know that's what strict Jewish law would say. How do I feel? I personally feel if you raise your kids Jewish and you teach them Judaism, I'll consider you a Jew. So that's my first one. So that's my answer.
Yeah, I think historically, it was often hard to certify who the father was of a child, but we always know who the mother is. And for that reason, Judaism historically has been matrilineal, has followed the mother. But I think there's something also like deeply spiritual about that it's the mother that imparts the soul to the child in some way. And I'm a traditional Jew in that sense, that I do feel that Judaism and the soul of Judaism gets passed on through the mother, both in a biological sense, but also spiritually. Like it's the mother who sets the home in some ways, and she dictates what the values are in some very profound ways. So I respect everyone. I respect their desire to live whatever lives, however they want to self-determine, as long as it's not hurting anyone else. But as far as I would see from a traditional Jewish perspective, I would say that Judaism has been and continues to be matrilineal.
Yeah, I was asking that question because my dad is Jewish.
Nice.
And I have cousins. My cousins are Orthodox, and they live back in Crown Heights. I live over there too. And I think one of them studies at like a school over there. But yeah, I'm not raised Jewish. But I like to make knowledge of my Jewish ancestors.
That's awesome.
But yeah. All right.
That's really great.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks.
Thanks for the question, Gabe.
Yeah, thank you.
So my question is like, what do you guys think of like the Israel-Palestine conflict?
You're the first person to ask.
Seriously?
We've been here
Okay.
for 2 hours. You're the first person who's been brave enough to ask that.
Yeah.
I'm pro-conflict. I like when people. I'm gonna let the Sevi start this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I got like 5 minutes, so I'm just trying to. I want to see what everyone else thinks because I have my own.
I think that there's something really like broken and wrong about the world we live in when we can like come to violence and kill each other. I think there's something like fundamentally like insane about that. And I wonder how we can like try restore some sanity to a world that feels like it's lost its mind. And I feel like what's happening over in Israel-Palestine really highlights like how like we've lost our minds in some ways. And I really want to figure out how we can live in a world where we're not killing each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I want to jump in. I'm going to be a little more specific. I think Israel has, the conversation around whether Israel has a right to exist or not is a stupid conversation because it exists. So done. Not going anywhere. Gene, Israel has a right to defend itself. C, I think what's happening right now is not Israel defending itself. I
think it's stupid, Leon. Yeah, I agree.
I think that it's way overboard, and I think that there's policies coming from Netanyahu and some people. And I have a lot more research to do, but like this does not look like they're defending themselves. It looks like they're trying to Yeah, it's messy, and it does not have to be this messy, and I'm not happy with what's going on. So yeah,
that's pretty much answers my question. I sort of have similar same thoughts. I'm not going.
No, you're not. No, there's a lot of people that kind of fit that middle ground. Pro ceasefire, but like Israel should exist. That's a big silent majority, I think. Even.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, awesome. What was your name?
Thanks, dude.
Jacob.
Jacob. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Nice to meet you, brother.
Sweet you.
Thank you.
Take care.
I'm Natalia. Zakia.
Nice to meet you, Zevi.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. What's your favorite part about your culture, about being Jewish?
Good question. The community, honestly. Like we both grew up like religious, and so like very tight knit like community. My secular friends have like 20 friends. I have 2,000. Hundreds.
Yeah.
We know so many people. It's such a tight knit community. I love that.
That's good. Yeah.
I love that Judaism gives me the chance to live like mindfully and intentionally. There's like constant reminders throughout the Jewish day and everything that we do that like recenter us back to like purpose and back to like why we want to be doing this and to connect with God in every moment. And for me, that's really meaningful and helpful.
Yeah. Like, what are like celebrations you do that you to like in like how do you like what is I don't know like festivities?
What's like a festivity that we're
we're
about to have one in a week.
That's right.
That's basically Jewish Halloween. So if you guys like
Jewish Halloween,
you're gonna see tons of Jews in costumes on the street drinking heavily. It's like our version of Halloween, but it has a lot of spiritual significance. It's called Purim. You can look it up. You can Google it. Purim. But yeah, that's happening in like 6 days, 7
Yeah.
days.
Judaism has a bunch of festivals throughout the year, and each one of them commemorates a historical event. And we have different ways of celebrating them, and they're usually pretty fun. They're quite a blast.
Our holidays are fun. They are.
And they're also open. If you're not Jewish, you're welcome to join and celebrate with Jewish friends, Jewish community.
The food's bomb too.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is.
Yeah, that I've heard. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, Dylan, how are you?
Hey,
I'm good. A couple of weeks ago, I remember seeing on the news like a neo-Nazi protest somewhere in New York. It was like guys holding up flags like swastikas.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm against that, but like, what do you guys think about that?
I'm not pro it.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Not a big fan of the swastika people. My like deeper thought of that is so I like as a hobby I follow anti-Semites on Twitter just to kind of like see where
it's fun.
What are they saying about us? And like honestly, I have watched over the past 2-3 years these accounts that are just really anti-Semitic grow so big and just mainstreaming ideas that are like really dangerous for Jews in America and the rest of the Western world. And I'm starting to get a little scared. I am. I'm not really that type of guy, and I'm starting to get like, oh, this isn't just the fringes. Like, this shit's mainstreaming. That's not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
I think that the problem with hatred is that it's rarely contained, you know?
Yeah.
So a neo-Nazi who hates Jews is going to also hate blacks and then hate the gays and then hate the Chinese, and hatred just continues to fester and grow.
Yeah.
And I think that as people who want to stand for tolerance and acceptance, understanding, we have to like get together and be like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
We can't be hating on anyone for their race, for their ethnicity, for their sexuality, for their gender. And it's
and that's why education's important. That's why you put up a sign in front of a museum saying, ask a Jew anything.
Yeah.
People there has to be cultural exchange it's hard to hate a culture or religion that you know about, that you've met the people, you know?
Well, see, some people are saying that, like, you know, even though they're against...
Just raise your mic a little.
No, some people are saying that, like, even though they're against the idea of, like, neo-Nazis, they're saying it's still freedom of speech. But I just think that's, like, disturbing the peace, you know, because they're screaming, like, you know, hail, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
I mean, freedom of speech has its limitations. You can't incite people to violence.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, the freedom of speech is a very important American principle, and as an American, I support it, and I think it's crucial. But
you're not an American. He's Australian.
I am. I'm an American citizen.
Oh, you are?
Yes. But we have to make sure that we use our speech in ways that's constructive and helpful and promotes peace and tolerance and civilization, and doesn't like lead to hatred and discourse, because then what good are we doing, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks,
Great
brother.
questions. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Lena and Emma.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you. I'm Zach. This is
Zeb, nice to meet you guys.
Okay, I was gonna ask, why are you guys doing this, and what do you think the importance of talking to people about?
Great question. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna let Zevi answer this because Zevi kind of dragged me to this. This was Zevi's idea. Zevi, why are we doing this?
I feel like our answer is going to become somewhat similar in that we live more and more in like an internet world where we only interact with people that we don't know through screens and through short like text bursts or like angry videos. And we wanted to like change that a little. We wanted to give an opportunity for people to sit face to face and to like actually ask questions to a stranger. And we're kind of open to any question. A chance to get to know each other, a chance to vent at each other. So that's what inspired me. That's what motivated me to do it, particularly now where there's so much of people just yelling at each other online. We wanted to sit down and maybe yell at each other or talk to each other in person.
Yeah. My question was, how was your guys' day?
Very weird so far because I'm doing this. This is not my normal 9 to 5. It's honestly, the weather's great, and honestly, what's greater than the weather is how nice the people have been. I mean, look, it's a weird time right now in America. It's a weird time to be Jewish. It's a weird time to do something like this. And we were kind of expecting more anger or more just like confusion. What we've got instead is just people being so kind, so respectful, so thoughtful. And it's honestly anything that you can do that restores your faith in humanity is a good thing. So it's been a good day.
That's good. What was the best interaction you've had today with a person, or like the most memorable?
I mean, we had a guy who was literally on his way from housing shelter. He's on house. He doesn't have a home, and I didn't know what to expect from him, and he actually had this like super specific question on like mysticism and psychedelics, and that was fascinating. So I thought that was a really cool experience.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much for coming over.
Hey, you guys have any questions you want to ask? We don't bite. We're nice. We're real nice.
We don't have horns.
I put my horns away for this. What if we did money? Money, dude, we get a lot. Ask a Jew about money. Hot business tips from a Jew. Come get your hot business tips. Get your hot Jewish business tips. Real estate consultations. Free legal advice. Ask a Jew.
Wait,
What's another big Jew thing?
Let's not make people
No, I'm not.
Let's not antagonize
I
the
know.
I just want to say thank you for doing this.
Yes, of course.
I'm the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors.
Wow.
And this is all I want to see is conversation and civility, and just thank you.
It's been very civil so far. It's terrible. We want a viral moment. Someone's got to throw tomatoes at us.
Oh, no.
I'm so happy. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
The past however many months now.
It's been a lot in the past few thousand years.
Wanting to listen.
He's the coolest guy.
I love that. Just thank you, from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of my grandparents, that you guys are.
Thank you.
You're making all of it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that a lot. You too.
It's very sweet.
Sounds really sweet.